I can't think of a better person to have with us than someone who has been very outspoken in taking on the globalist, whatever you want to call it, globalist syndicate, globalist cult, New World Order crowd, criminal international banking syndicate, deep state, shadow government. It's all the same. Dan Brigman has been taking on that syndicate, that cult, for decades, using a number of different platforms. Dan was the host of the Power Hour on the radio, a radio show, for years. Dan has written a book. He's a phenomenal author. Forever 1776, forever1776.com. And then Dan and his family put it all on the line and founded an entity, a company, Numanna, Numanna, Numanna.com, storable food and water purification company, that when they founded it, he and his family were given immense grief. What are you doing? We're not going to have a food problem, a water problem in this country or North America or anywhere around us. You're being hyperbolic about how you think things are going and the like. But no. In fact, Dan and his family were accurate. And they have produced the best storable food and the best purification systems for water that every person, every family in our country, frankly around the world, can benefit from. Late night this past week, Dan, that this was released from the Department of Agriculture. According to the USDA report, last year, almost 18, not 1.8, 18% of households where children lived were food insecure. This is up 50% from 12% in 2021. Looking at all households, 13.5% of American households, not Biafra, not Ethiopia, not Bangladesh, the United States, the good old US of A. All households, 13.5% of all households were classified as food insecure, defined as experiencing difficulty to meet basic food needs, including the inability to buy enough food, buying balanced meals, or eating irregular portion sizes, which has led to skipping meals and experiencing hunger. Some people will say, wow, what a series of accidents for this to have occurred in our own country, or what a terrible set of coincidences, or this is because of incompetence. Dan, tell me if I'm off. This is willful. This is part of that playbook.
You know, I've been on your show for years, your radio show. We've done some videos like this. I've tried to warn people for years what you're saying, and it's so hard. It's so hard to get people who, and I don't mean this derogatory, but you're watching TV, you see an Overton window that you're being shown a facade of what they want you to what they want to show you. Mm-hmm. And I'm sitting on the fringe or sitting just outside this. I'm on the wholesale level, just not even from my experience from radio and all the people I know and contacts, just from my experience on the wholesale level. And I'm seeing, and I'm telling you, I'm seeing something different. What they're telling you on TV and what I'm seeing, it's two different things, ladies and gentlemen. Mm-hmm. That's why I predicted about the beef price. I told y'all the beef prices were going to explode. I told you an egg was going to be $1. I told you that. What do you think? I just pulled this out of a magic hat or some magic 8-ball? No, it's because I could see the window that they're not showing you. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And the food production in this country has been drastically cut. Not only the production plants, but the farmers themselves. I'm in contact with farmers. My wife is from farming areas of this country. I'm sure we're gonna get into that. Some important things. I talk to some of these farmers. We have family friends. They're telling me what they're seeing from their side. It is not the same thing they're telling you on TV. We have been systematically the moral fortitude has eroded in our country, and now the systems in our country are eroding. The food in our country is eroding. I mean, it's a biblical level step down of our prosperity, our blessings, and it's a curse that has come over our country, and it manifests in many different ways. I'm here trying to warn you. You know, your normalcy bias, what you think, is not what's going on.
18% of households with children are food insecure. You and I hear that. Our listeners hear that. Oh my gosh, that's awful. 18%. It should be 0%. The globalist scum look at that and go, only 18%?
Yeah, it's low.
Man,
yeah.
We're not doing a very good job. That should be like 88%. What do we do? And then they call in their buddies that they own and control, either by bribery or because of their past history that's used against them to blackmail them. And those people then can say, oh, it's a legal issue. It's between the farmers and this agency, so I'm stepping back from this. Yeah, no. He stepped right in it. Which brings us to, this is not an isolated issue. This is happening, as you mentioned, in Europe. The reason Ukraine, the breadbasket of the world or of the East, is no longer that. It is a big minefield, right? Or bombed out structures. It's no longer the breadbasket. That's not an accident. It's not a coincidence, and it's not from incompetence. It's all willful. Which brings me to something Mike Schneider said, which actually is, again, right in your wheelhouse, Dan. Because my concern, Dan, is that they're going to try to make food insecurity an issue for every American family. Not 18%, not 80%, but 100%. And the only way, and again, as you mentioned, they're attacking water. So, one of the big problems is, well, yeah, there's plenty of water, but we don't have the means of filtration for it. So sorry, you can knock a beach ball around on the beach at Lake Michigan or whatever, or Lake Erie or whatever it might be, but we just don't have we've got problems, and we just can't. Well, this is where the filtration issues come in, and this is where the storable food comes in, because if people are prepared and have storable food and a means of filtering water, every person becomes less vulnerable, not immune, but less vulnerable.
Resilient.
Yes, to the operations of the syndicate. Mm-hmm. So Mike Schneider said the following recently: you should be preparing like crazy right now. A lot of people seem to think that the summer and fall of 2024 is a time to party. But the truth is that this is a time when people should be feverishly preparing for the extremely chaotic times that are ahead of us. I just don't know what it's going to take for people to wake up and realize how late it is. Trump got shot, and that shook people up for a few days, but it didn't last for long. Then there was a soft coup in the Democratic Party, and that got people fired up for a little bit, but that quickly faded out. Of course, there's a small minority that is awake and that understands that we are living in truly historic times, but the vast majority of the population appears to be clueless. And that's exactly what the globalist syndicate wants. So, Dan, you are a visionary, as I mentioned in your introduction. I want you to take people through what they need to be doing on the prep side of the equation, from a food standpoint and from a water standpoint, because they're not going to get this through any other source, because every other source is compromised. Dan?
The first thing I would do to anybody who's listening, I want you to imagine what it would be like if you could not go to a store for, say, 2 weeks. Start with 2 weeks if you're starting from zero. Just imagine. What would it be like if there was you could not go to a store, you could not get any food from the store for 2 weeks? Look at your house, what you need. Look at what it takes to sustain, not only sustain, but to thrive during that time, and start there. Obviously, our company is a storable food company. We make I think the best. I mean, this is an organic family pack. You can see the bucket. We got organic options, all kind of options, and water filters. What you're going to need is you're going to need food. You're going to need some sort of snacks for people. You need to sustain, and you need water filtration. If you're living in a place, especially like Flint, Michigan, you already need water filtration.
Right.
Our water filter and the infrastructure is failing, ladies and gentlemen. The infrastructure across the country is getting old, and infrastructure, water municipalities is failing, just so you know. So I've been in this a long time. 13 years we've been doing this. You have to have water filtration. And for an emergency, if I'm living in any kind of city, I am filtering my water now. And I don't want to go into that. That's a whole nother story. You've heard of the Berkey type filters, the same. We have Duraflow filters on our website. I've done this 13 years. They are the best gravity fed filters I've ever seen. They take out fluoride, arsenic, the whole 9 yards. They take it out, and they have really high flow rates, work excellently. How are you going to get water for 2 weeks? How are you going to get food? And once you go 2 weeks, now you multiply that, you double it to a month. Then you double it to at least bare minimum 3 months. What is my plan? If there's one, and there's 2 ways you cannot have food, ladies and gentlemen. You don't think about this. 1, there's no food at the store. 2, food is so highly priced that you can't afford it. There's 2 ways you cannot have food. And we've seen that with COVID. It's not so far out of the realm of possibility. We've seen the shortages. I'm telling you, the farmers are getting squeezed. This is very key. The farmers are getting squeezed on price, my friend. The price is going down. Why is the farmers are getting paid less and less and less on the wholesale grain? Why, when everything else, the prices are exploding? How is this possible? How is this possible? Because they're being attacked, ladies and gentlemen. Their independence and the ability to produce. If they can't produce, who's going to grow the food?
And when you have the financial powers that be manipulating the commodities markets with paper contracts to drive the prices down to pinch the farmers on that side, while their supply costs, as you mentioned, fertilizer, gasoline, you name it, labor is up through the roof. Go ahead, Dan. I'm sorry.
We have different, I know that the type of food we sell is key to your preparedness plan. You have to have a variety of things. When you go to the store, okay, instead you usually buy 2 cans of tuna fish. I'm just giving an example. Now buy 4. You usually buy 1 bag of rice, buy 2. So you start there. The long-term food stores, like in the buckets, the family packs, organic family packs, that gives you flexibility. It freezes your food price today, and you can mix it with other things, and it gives you a peace of mind and security. Now you have security. So you buy car insurance. If you drive safely for that year, you might as well took the money and flushed it down the toilet. You buy house insurance. Same thing. Your house is safe. Everything's good. Well, the money you spend on house insurance, you might as well take it and burn it. This is a no-lose investment. Where this food is good quality. It's organic options. It's the other different options that we have. We have powdered milk. I used to hate powdered milk growing up as a child. I said, we're not selling powdered milk unless it tastes good. We found some unbelievable powdered milk. It's good enough. I promise you, we have organic options and hormone-free. You make that organic milk, put it in your fridge, and chances are pretty good it tastes better than the milk you're drinking now. That's how good it is. We introduced freeze-dried vegetables, freeze-dried fruit this year. We have all different options. These are things you need to invest in. But Dave we've been a long time partnership with Dave. We love Dave Janda. We love his audience. You use the code Janda at checkout, Janda, Janda, and you're going to get 20% off all food orders. Some of the filters and stuff, we don't make them, so I can't discount. 20% off all the food orders with the code Janda. This is your opportunity to stock up. This is an opportunity for you to help patch some of those inadequacies or vulnerabilities that you have in your family.
Well, Dan, and for our listeners, just so they're aware, some know this, most don't. a number of storable food companies have approached me over the years about them becoming sponsors. And I have turned all of them away, with the exception of Numanna. And here's why. My background in medicine is in prevention. And when I look at storable food products, they are not all the same. My goal is to have somebody on this platform, Dan Brigman and Numanna, that provides quality products that are nutritious. We have an entire website, operationfreedomhealth.com, focusing on the nutritional side of the equation. All the series of videos I do with every other week and have for 6-7 years with Dr. Peter Glidden, one of the top naturopathic physicians in the country, if not world. Dan's products are the only ones that hold up. They're the only ones that hold up on a nutritional standpoint. Because many of these storable food products, when they say we're providing X number of meals, and a bunch of them are cereals and sugar drinks and a bunch of stuff that, no, that's not nutritious. And Dan's very humble about this, and modest about it. But Dan, briefly take our listeners through the fact of the type of buckets you have, food buckets, and because the meals are not just nutritious, they actually, and it's surprising for storable food, they actually taste good.
There's a website that we put out, or that one of our affiliates put out, says, "Can your food storage do this?" It's a story of a UPS driver that came to us a few years ago. He wanted basically what you're saying. There's so many food storage companies. Are they all the same? What? I'm going to test out Numanna. It seems like it's different. I'm going to test it out. His test was, for 30 days, I'm going to eat nothing but Numanna. This is so key. I can't even tell you how important this is. We had a thing called the Defender Pack. And in the Defender Pack, we have superfoods mixed with this, with meals like like pasta primavera. For the American diet, it's super good. It's something you'll like, your children will like, the macaroni and cheese with superfoods. It's amazing. He ate nothing but the Defender Pack for a month. Now, he's a delivery truck driver. And if you know them, you farmers work hard. Mm-hmm. Well, delivery truck drivers work hard too. Mm-hmm. Work very hard. At the end of it, we talked to him. You can see the video on that website. Can your food storage do this?
.com.
Yes. He had more energy. He quit taking energy drinks. He used to have 2 or 3 energy drinks again through the day because he didn't have the energy. He had more energy than usual. He felt great. He was able to make the meals at lunch in his back of his truck, and he said it was amazing. It was unbelievable. He also said, you'll see in the video if you go to that, he said that he says, I saw that other people had done tests like this with other companies and they got in trouble health-wise. They actually got sick and they had problems. Mm-hmm. He says, if I would have known that, I might not have done this.
And tell me this, Dan, it's certified, correct? You went through the strictest certification procedure that's available.
CCOF. It's one of the, if it's not the top, it's second to none, let's put it that way, of certification. It is extremely hard to get. We were the first ones to do it. We cut basically a machete through the forest of the food storage industry, and that gives you an idea. So we have organic family pack. We have also, if you need no gluten, we have no gluten family pack.
One of my family members has relied on that.
So we have no gluten family pack. And the pack, let me so people can see. So each one of these buckets is gonna see. So here's organic mac and cheese. Organic mac and cheese. You can see it. And it's in this 5 ml over-engineered bag, resealable, so you don't have to use all the servings. It's easy to seal.
Yeah, and that's very important, by the way. A lot of people don't realize that because they buy something somewhere and they go, oh, how do it's going to go bad. This is terrible packaging. Yours is cream of the crop.
Oh, the 5 ml, and people have come to us, why don't you use cheaper packaging? Well, there's a reason. I'll tell you, when we first started doing this, we had 7 or 8 different companies in our pantry from other companies.
Yeah.
And including ours. And a mouse got in our house.
Yeah.
Mouse got in our pantry, ate the bags of every single one of those companies except Ours.
5
And it's
millimeters.
not, a mouse could get through. There's no question a mouse could get through
Yeah.
this. It puzzled me. Why in the world did they not eat ours and they ate all theirs? So I talked to my food guy, whatever. He said, "Oh, that makes sense. The mouse could smell the food in the other packages. He couldn't
Can't
smell
smell
the
it you
food.
from yours. Yeah.
He couldn't smell it because your package is good.
Yep.
Too good. And that's one of the killers of longevity food storage is air, oxygen, and temperature fluctuations. Don't store it in the garage. No temperature fluctuations.
Right. So for example, a cooler environment like a basement, for example.
Perfect.
Right.
Just stable. Something.
Now, Dan, how long that pack you have there, that bucket? How long is that good for?
25 years. It's going to store for.
Yeah.
Now, some of the there's powdered milk in here. Dehydrated powdered milk doesn't last 25 years, but like a meal like that would.
How long does powdered milk dehydrated?
Obviously, now you're getting to where you're going to store it stable. You're probably 15 years, 15 years, probably maybe up to 20.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They also come into play. The filtration systems for water, the storable food products, tornadoes, hurricanes, mudslides, fires. There were some listeners of ours in Venezuela and Argentina who years ago had ordered some things through you and had their family get it here in the United States and sent it to them as well. And they said if it wasn't for that, in addition to having actually physical silver, they told me, that their lives would have been over.
That means a lot.
So it's not just
it means a lot.
The globalist scum targeting a system to come down, which they have done and they are in the process of doing, but it's also for these natural disasters.
Absolutely. Especially water. Water is key. That you need water more prevalently and quicker than you're going to need food.
Yeah.
Water is key. And I would be looking into filtering your water now.
Yeah, I agree.
Right now. It's
agree.
Very easy. I couldn't turn my camera. We got one of these Berkey type setups. Yeah. It's got our filters in it. And you just put the water on top, it drains in. Then it's easy. Then it's like a little water cooler. And the water, all the chemicals are taken out of it.
Yeah.
God only knows what's in these. I'm telling you, ladies and gentlemen, the infrastructure, our food production, our water purification, our water delivery. I mean, you're hearing about these farmers. Our infrastructure in this country is not as safe or as developed or whatever or resilient as you think it is.
That's correct.
I promise you. Mm-hmm. And if you don't take action to prevent that, are you relying on politicians? Are you relying on Kamala Harris? Are you relying on these Democratic-run cities? I mean, I wouldn't do that. I wouldn't risk my life because you're risking your life. So why wouldn't you take action? We're here to help you. If you got a situation where you need to ask me advice or whatever, I mean, get a hold of me or through Dave. Send an email through Dave, or just send an email through our website, and we'll answer. We'll help you. And if for some reason you're like, hey, I'm trying to do this, I need help with it, just ask us. We're here to help.
So, Dan, educate our listeners in how folks can get more information about your products, including your book, Forever 1776. So, books, storable food, water filters, and your websites and your contact information.
Numanna.com, Numanna.com, Numanna.com. Just like it's the new manna for today to help us. That website, we have all the information on all the products. You can get a hold of us, what have you.
Numanna, Numanna.com. And Dan mentioned that other website, canyourfoodstoragedotthis.com.
Yes.
I encourage you to go there. Dan, every video I do, I make a habit, whether it's in the middle or at the end or throughout, as we did today, to not only point out what the problems are that we're facing, but what people can do to address the problems and make life better for themselves and those around them. And part of that is to take this information, including this video, and network it to all those they know and love, because I can assure you 99.9% of our viewers, that they send it to their family and friends and coworkers and neighbors, they will have known nothing about what we just spoke about today prior to them viewing it. But it's also about action-based. And many people get upset with me in our videos because I say, folks, this is what you need to do. These are some action steps. Unfortunately, there are too many people that just want to sit on the couch and not do anything. Well, this is not one of those times. This is not only about networking a video, which is mandatory, this Bucket Brigade of Truth, but it's also about going out there and protecting yourself. Getting the water filters, getting the storable food, and having it for yourself and your families. This is the key. And a statement we make still at our Institute for Preventative Sports Medicine: when it comes to prevention, caring is the first step. But for it to be more than empty rhetoric, action must follow. The action, folks, is now up to you. You need to do what you need to do to protect yourself and to protect your family and to help your friends and neighbors and coworkers protect themselves, because the government's not going to tell them this. They're going to be too busy dealing with their buddies in BlackRock, trying to find a way how to deplete water and how to deplete food from getting to your table. I thank you, Dan, for your perseverance, dedication, and sacrifice. Numanna.com. You need to go there. Not later, but now. Until next time, Dave Janda signing off. Dream big and dare to fail. Thanks for your time today.